She is deceased. She's underneath the tarp. There's blood all over her. She's decaying already. So it's been a little while. And husband is incoherent. Like he's very intoxicated.
That's 34-year-old Christopher Robertson on the floor of the Fort Worth police station. His wife was found murdered only 2 days before this footage was filmed. She was found by Christopher's brother after he came home and noticed a foul smell in the house. But that isn't Christopher mourning for his wife. He's realized he could be going to prison for a long time after being arrested for her murder.
Did anything happen with your wife? No? Do you know if she's okay? Huh?
Yeah, she should be.
She should be?
Yeah, he's been drinking on and off for a while now. So,
Okay.
yeah, hearing that he's drunk is not good news.
Yeah.
Before we begin, allow us to express our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Crystalline Robertson. There seemed to be no explanation as to why Christopher Robertson was so drunk when his brother Eric arrived at the home on the evening of March the 19th, 2024. Eric had been staying at his girlfriend's house for a week, but as soon as he returned to his home on the 5500 block of Whitman Avenue in Fort Worth, Texas, he knew something was terribly wrong. He'd seen his brother drunk before, but never as drunk as he was that night. Christopher's wife, 34-year-old Crystalline, appeared to be absent from the house, which was highly unusual as she spent most of her time indoors. There was also a strong, foul odor that was an immediate cause for concern. The source of the smell soon became clear to Eric when Christopher entered his bedroom. Inside the bedroom, Christopher's wife was laying face down on the floor. She was partially wrapped in what looked like a blue plastic sheet or tarp, and it was obvious she had been dead for a while. When Eric realized how serious the situation was, he got his brother out of the house and called 911. Eric then went back into the bedroom to collect a Sig Sauer .22 caliber handgun he'd found with the intention of handing it to the police. Although moving evidence is the last thing you should do, it seemed that this was a case of good intentions on the part of Eric. By 9:40 p.m., the Fort Worth Police Department arrived at the house, and Officer Mendoza was one of the first responders to the scene. But making any sense of Christopher wasn't going to be easy.
What's going on, man?
What's happening?
On the funeral,
We're outside on the porch, and they're talking to my brother now.
Did you drink last night? Woke up this morning, called my buddy, he asked me how to move, so, drink some
First
him.
up. Okay. We have a police officer for that. What do you do? So you said you went drinking last night, and then you woke up?
Oh yeah, and move for the stuff next to more, but this is not all for me.
Okay.
You have any health problems? Do you have like diabetes or anything?
When Officer Mendoza stepped inside the bedroom, he found Crystalline was naked and covered in blood. There appeared to be a mark or a bruise on her neck, but it was impossible to see Crystalline fully as the tarp was covering most of her body. But what Officer Mendoza could see was decomposition was setting in, which meant Christopher couldn't have seen her only a couple of hours ago as he claimed. Was Christopher lying, or was he just too drunk to remember? Were those scratches and marks on her body simply an accident or something more sinister?
Let me get you
Come on. Don't fall. Don't fall.
My glasses are there.
Okay.
That's fine.
Come on, we're going to walk over this way. Yeah, we need to secure him somewhere.
Yeah, let's get him. Oh, go this way. Walk the foot. Push him through here.
You can put him back there, or we can put him on a curb. It doesn't matter. It's unlocked.
Alright.
it's gone.
All right, we're gonna sit you back here, okay? Until we can
So go ahead.
get some more
Here, get the
information.
light on her. I got it. Go ahead and sit down, man.
There we go.
Too easy, right?
All right, give me a sec.
Crystalline was officially pronounced dead at 9:55 p.m., and detectives were asked to attend to the scene as it looked like a case of homicide. Although it wasn't clear at this point how she died, it was safe to assume that her death was violent and terrifying, and the only person in the house with Crystalline was her husband, Christopher. He might just be the only person who could tell police what had happened, but he would need to sober up before he faced any questions from anyone.
Husband is like extremely intoxicated. He's incoherent. Brother came over here, and sister-in-law is deceased underneath a tarp. Fire MedStar just pulled back the sheet. She's all bloodied and decaying, so it's been a couple days, at least a week, something like that.
While Christopher was detained in a patrol car, Officer Mendoza began the task of figuring out exactly what happened on Whitman Avenue. But he had to do that without entering the house, which was off limits until the detectives arrived with a search warrant.
We still don't have good info on her.
Is her name Crystalline? Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Let me look up her internet.
I was trying to ask your brother, and all I got was Crystalline.
He's not into it.
One of these cars hers?
That black one over there.
So I know you just talked to this officer. Has your brother been going through something, or did you just come visit, or how'd this work?
He's been living here with her for at least 6 months
Okay.
in that back room.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to have some kind of medical condition or disability, so she never left unless they were going out social.
Got it. Okay.
1 second, because here she is.
So it's sort of known for her, not to be seen kind of thing,
Yeah, it wouldn't be uncommon for us to not see her for a week on end because she would avoid us.
Is it like an immune system thing? Is that what?
I don't know.
Okay. And
I thought it was Munchausen's myself, but
Oh, yeah?
you had to ask him about it
okay.
if he can talk.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to talk to him.
Yeah.
I couldn't get too much. Do you live here also? Who all lives here?
My mother lives here. I live here. They live here.
Got it.
I stay a lot with my girlfriend,
Yeah.
so I haven't physically been here in at least a couple of days.
A couple of days.
Yeah.
And when's the last time you saw your sister-in-law?
I don't know. It's been since I physically saw her
Yeah.
at least a week.
At least a week? Okay.
Yeah. And she texted me a few days ago saying that he was drunk.
With Eric away from home and Crystalline barely leaving her room in months, it was no wonder she wasn't reported missing. If Eric was gone for almost a week, there's no telling how many days Crystalline's body had been there, and if it was where she was killed at all. There were still lingering questions of who killed her. Was it Christopher, and was he just too drunk to admit it? Or was someone else involved? Police were hoping Eric could shed some light on the situation.
Does he have an issue?
No, he has several issues, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He's got the think, and he's been drinking on and off for a while now. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Does he?
hearing that he's drunk is not good news.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Like
Sort of
more
a
than
different
it would
person
be for
kind of
other
thing.
people.
Yeah. Military or anything?
Yeah, he was in Afghanistan.
Okay.
So,
You know what branch?
he was military intelligence as a linguist.
Okay. you have a timeline for that? Like how far back that was?
He returned back to Fort Worth with a discharge in 2016, if I remember right. And he stayed here for 6 months, and then he moved out until about 6 months ago.
Christopher had a history of drinking problems and had been violent on more than one occasion. In 2017, he was arrested by the Crowley Police Department for violent threats against a family member, and many of Crystalline's family had pleaded with her to leave Christopher over his drinking problems. She decided to stay, and his drinking got even worse.
What, has there been anything up with him, like that you've noticed? Do you see him often?
I see him more often than her, but
Yeah.
they both wanted to avoid us because, basically our position was that they should be paying more of the bills, and so we're here running them up.
Okay.
And they more or less didn't want to pay them, you know. So the last I texted him was I noticed some like liquor bottles were empty that didn't belong to him, and he said he would make it up to me.
Okay.
But that was via text,
Yeah.
you know. He's not a big verbal dude, and last time that I heard his voice before today, like he was basically saying that he wasn't happy with the situation because got a disabled wife and got all these kids and all these dogs and yada yada yada, and I was just like, okay, but you don't own this house, so quit yelling at us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't your place. So I didn't say that though. I was just like watching him.
Okay.
And then eventually he shut up and went to the back room. So, but because of that like tension, like they actively avoided both me and my mother, but especially.
Okay. And did you get back today? Is today when you came back?
I came back here around 8:45.
Okay.
I had worked until way after 7, and I had to stop and get fuel. So I've got a receipt with a time stamp on it.
Okay.
For when I was at the gas station, and I think on a previous occasion I might have noticed some kind of smell that wasn't correct. But they have their dogs and there's 2 other dogs. And if he's drinking, he might have vomited or something.
Okay.
So I'm not 100% sure about that, but
Okay.
dead bodies smell. So,
Yeah.
as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, did we catch a rat or something? And then I see him stumbling. I've never seen him in a condition like that exactly.
Okay.
From Eric's recollection of life with the Robertsons, it was clear that their relationship had caused a lot of problems and their home life was a mess. This left both Crystalline and Christopher fighting bitterly over the custody of their children.
Hey, the car seats, who has kids?
They both do.
Oh, do they? Where are the kids at?
He has 2 children with his ex-wife.
Okay.
She has custody of them. She has a total of 5 children. One of them is an adult, and one of them is a young woman who's almost an adult, and 3 of them are prepubescent girls.
Okay.
And they are in the custody of their father.
Okay.
And I think that they don't have. Yeah, he's got the custody, and she would be the non-custodial parent on it. I think all 5 of them.
Okay. So just every once in a while she has them?
Or one of them's an adult. So, yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago they were here for the weekend. I think they were here for an extended period during spring break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
It's scary to think that if their children had been visiting at the time, they may have become victims as well. And if Christopher was too drunk on a regular basis, there was no telling what he might have been capable of.
So technically technically we're both free to go, but we can't go in the house, right?
Yeah. So the warrant was just signed.
Okay.
So we're about to get everything started.
Okay.
Did the sorry, did the detective tell you what he wanted you to wait around for?
Said we can't go in the house.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, he's asking to go get a Coke or something. Hey, Chris. Stay in the car, kid.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah. I was just readjusting the seat.
You're on the ground.
Yeah, you need to get back in the car.
I thought.
No. In the car.
Okay, so I'm just sitting in the car now?
Yes, you're sitting in the car, like I
Okay.
told you a minute ago. Ass and seat, kid.
Okay. I thought I was supposed to move the...
No, you're supposed to move your ass into the seat. And now you're supposed to stay in the seat. Yeah, he wanted to get something to drink or something.
Okay.
So I was going to go down to the gas station and get him a Coke or whatever, but
Okay.
I don't know about that.
I have some waters in the back of my car. I don't know if that would be okay for him or.
It's going to have to do, I guess.
Okay.
Can't go anywhere.
I'll give the detective a call and just make sure that's the case.
Even though it was after 12 a.m. when Detective Anderson requested the search warrant, he managed to convince a Fort Worth magistrate to grant his request. As soon as the search warrant was in his hands, it was executed immediately. Christopher wasn't arrested at the time or even placed in a cell. For one, he was so drunk he wasn't going anywhere, and also anything he did say wouldn't be used against him because he was so drunk. He was placed in the care of Eric until the investigators had more to go on. At least investigators had access to the house, allowing the Tarrant County medical examiner to get a closer look at Crystalline and find out how she died. They struggled to identify any specific wounds at the crime scene due to the amount of blood soaked all over her body. It wasn't until 9:36 the following morning that a cause of death was confirmed. Crystalline had been shot in the face at close range, with the bullet entering just below her left eye, leaving fragments of the bullet lodged inside her head. If the gun used to shoot Crystalline matched the Sig Sauer .22 caliber handgun that Eric found in Christopher's room, then Christopher could be arrested and charged with murder. So, by 10:15 a.m., Detective Anderson had collected the handgun from Eric and delivered it to the station for forensic analysis. Then, Detective Anderson's day got even busier when Fort Worth police received a 911 call from the person they least expected.
What?
Hello, this is Fort Worth Police. We just received a call from this number. Is there an emergency going on?
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on?
Whoa.
What's going on?
It's you and me.
Hello?
Yeah, I think my father-in-law is going to tell me, but I'm not sure, so...
So what's going on?
I mean, I actually killed his daughter.
You did what?
I killed his daughter, and I just need you here.
Okay, where is it?
5508 Whitman Avenue.
Okay, and you're there right now?
Yes.
Does she need an ambulance?
We do have several people here who do need an ambulance.
So does she need an ambulance?
We're gonna need. We've got like one casualty.
You're gonna need what?
3 casualties.
There's nobody here, dude. What are you talking about? It's you and me. We're the only people here, alive or dead. It's you, me, and the dog.
Okay, apparently I was mistaken.
There's no intruders.
Okay, I hear another voice. Does she need an ambulance?
No, there's
No.
nobody here.
No? Okay. So what's your name, sir?
My name is Chris Robertson.
It appeared that Christopher's hangover had worked wonders, and overnight he had had a change of heart. He admitted to killing his wife and insisted on being taken to jail to protect him from Crystalline's father and the potential repercussions. Christopher was arrested on the morning of the 21st of April 2024, and he would face some tough questions from detectives in charge. But Christopher was more concerned of what Crystalline's father might do if he were able to get his hands on him.
Well, you're safe here, I promise you that. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. I've been doing this job a little while.
All right. Chris, like I said, you remember my name? Detective Anderson, Detective Sullivan. So we're kind of in our office. We kind of want to go a little bit, a little bit more in depth, just ask some additional questions. While we're down here, though, have you ever had the Miranda warning read to you? I know you said you wanted to get down here, get away from everybody. Was that correct? You don't want to be around those people. You don't want them to have access to you.
No. I've tried to take it out last night because, I just screwed it up, and they're like, well, now we have to kill you.
Well, here's the thing. So things have changed. So we're going to keep you, okay? We're going to keep you here. We're going to charge you with murder. So and then you won't go back out there. Do you understand that? And then maybe that'll help keep you peace of mind that, these people can't get to you that way, okay? Does that sound better? So I want to read a Miranda warning to you, then I'd like to just ask a couple other questions. Do you have a problem with that? Okay.
As Christopher wasn't going anywhere anytime soon, he decided the best thing to do was to cooperate.
So, I just want to establish, you said you and Chris, do you call her Crystalline or Chris? What do you call her?
I call her Crystal, but her full name is Crystalline.
Okay. You said you and Crystal, y'all been dating since school.
No. We just liked each other.
Okay, liked each other.
We didn't try to, get romantic until our teens, and there was some sort of misunderstanding, so we went our separate ways.
I see.
I got married, she got married. I joined the military. I didn't really talk to her until I got back out of the Army. I was kind of in a bad way because my first marriage just ended. You can probably hear all this.
And then y'all got married about 5.5 years ago then?
We got married in 2020.
2020? Okay.
May 30th, because she thought it'd be real cute, right? Because she was born. 30th is the only day of the year where we're the same age. So she thought that'd be really cute.
Okay.
Plus, it's my birthday, our anniversary, her birthday.
Oh, wow.
There had been happier times between Crystalline and Christopher, and their romance was a long time coming. They had known each other since kindergarten and had even attended the same grade school together. They kept in touch throughout adulthood, and eventually a romance blossomed and the couple were married. But somehow it all went very, very wrong.
And then, what day was it that you killed her? Do you remember roughly?
Like I said, I believe it was April 4th.
April 4th? Why that day so vividly?
The only reason I really remember it now is because these people, they had the timeline better than I did because, like I said, I was drinking a lot, and after she died, I was so guilt-ridden that I started drinking more, and I even took some of her painkillers in order to kind of numb myself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the reason Christopher appeared so formal about the whole thing was because he had been living with his wife's body for so long, and he had come to terms with his actions. Or maybe he just had no remorse at all, because for over 2 weeks, Christopher kept his dark secret from everyone. Yet, during the interrogation, he tried to convince the detective that he was sorry for his actions. But the detective was more interested in the events of April the 19th.
And then how was it? I think we've asked this. Did you shoot her once or twice? Do you remember?
I shot her once.
Okay. You remember where at on the face?
I believe it was right about here.
You're pointing kind of to the right eye. All right. What happened when you shot her? You said she was sitting in a chair earlier. Is that correct?
She was sitting in a chair. I was sitting in a chair, we were facing each other, kind of like Mr.
Sullivan, yeah,
Sullivan
yeah.
and I, and you know, I shot her, and then she just slumped over and fell down on the ground, and you know, immediately I was like, oh my God, no, and you know, I you know, tried to shake her and see if she was still alive, but of course, signs of life started fading pretty quickly, and you know, I cried a little bit, and then you know, I just got like rip-roaringly drunk that night because I'm like, you know, trying to come to terms with what I did, and I still hadn't decided on whether I was going to turn myself in or not.
As we know, Christopher did not turn himself in, despite the fact he was so allegedly remorseful. But he did leave his house to pay a visit to a couple of local stores. His shopping list had some telltale items that could indicate Christopher was a cold and calculating individual who planned to dispose of Crystalline's body after he killed her.
Where did the blue tarp come from that she was in?
Blue tarp?
Like a tarp? Wasn't she in like a tarp or something? Or a shower curtain?
She's in a shower curtain.
Okay.
I think I just got it from like Dollar General.
Okay. And then you also said something about who was telling you were going to cut her up and put her in the backyard or something?
I mean, I was considering it because I you know, like I said, I hadn't worked up the courage to turn myself in yet. I was like, well, what am I going to do? I was like, I could try to dispose of the body. I was like, but that's a terrible idea because she lives here with me, with other people, and she's young and has kids, and a lot of people love her, and they're going to start questioning where she is pretty quickly.
Right. You had mentioned something about you'd bought a saw or something, correct?
Yes.
You bought that where?
At Harbor Freight.
Did you buy the saw and the shower curtain or tarp together, or?
I think I bought them the same day, but obviously different stores.
Different stores. Okay. Did you pay cash or credit card? Do you remember?
I think just a credit card.
Thinking about disposing of a body is bad enough. Planning it is even worse. But to go out and buy the items needed to do the job suggested that Crystalline's murder could have been planned all along.
Has anybody been trying to look for her? Like any family of hers? You mentioned she has family. Has anybody? Because it's, let's see, we're in April 21st now, so that was a good 17 days ago, almost 3 weeks ago.
Well, like I said, my older brother has been extremely suspicious. You know, he keeps trying to like get into my room because after a couple of days not hearing from her, because like we live in the same house, so obviously he should just see her around periodically. But like I said, I don't know if he actually was thinking that or if made me think he was saying that.
So like you talking about a wood saw, like a kind of like a hand saw like that?
Yeah, just like that. But
just like that, just like a little hand. Okay.
Well, it's wood.
A wood handle?
The wood is brown. So.
Oh, wood is brown. Okay. Were people telling you to go buy that stuff, or was that you thinking that on your own that you needed to do that?
No, that was just me, you know, basically being a giant pussy about coming in and thinking like, you know, like I said, I was like, maybe it would be better to get rid of her, but I'm like, that's a terrible idea.
Christopher might have told the detectives he thought it was a bad idea, but it was plausible to think that he might have disposed of Crystalline anyway had he not been caught for a few more days. The night her body was found could have been the night Christopher planned to dispose of her, and that would explain why he had gotten so drunk. But explaining how Crystalline had managed to send messages from her phone after she was dead would be much harder for Christopher to explain.
You remember me the other night talking to you? Briefly, like you were extremely intoxicated. That's why I didn't really ask you anything. Do you remember me at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember the police being at your house?
Yes.
Let me ask one other question. Have you been using her phone to communicate with her dad, like text her dad and stuff?
No, I don't know the password to her phone.
What type of phone does she have?
Samsung Galaxy Note 20 or something.
Okay.
It's very nice.
Where's that phone at?
It's sitting on my desk at home.
Okay. And then your phone, what type of phone do you have?
An S21. But there's no evidence on this because I just wiped it.
And suddenly, Christopher found himself backed into a corner with no chance of escape.
What should I tell her dad if they ask me anything?
I don't know.
Are you sorry for what happened?
Yeah.
Do you understand that it was wrong, what happened?
Yeah, obviously. You know, she's my wife.
Now, you were talking about she's had guns, you know, she has 222s and stuff like that. Did she have any of those guns that day that whenever you shot her, was she playing with them or doing anything with them then?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
She wasn't doing, so there was nothing in her hands whenever that happened.
Maybe she did, but you know, I put it back in the case or the drawer or whatever.
But you shot her because you were upset.
Yeah, just we've been fighting for a while now. Like I said, you know, our last house, rent kept going up, and she, you know, was unable to work because she got sick, which just put like additional financial stress on us. And eventually got to the point where we couldn't afford rent anymore. And I thought maybe if we stay with, you know, her dad for a couple of months, then be able to get back on her feet. I think this thing's dead now, so I don't know if they can listen. But
you want me to get it out of the room so they can't?
Well, I also, you know, like I said, factory reset it,
Oh, yeah.
so I don't know.
Hopefully they haven't got a hold of it.
I really hope so.
Alright, well, give us a second. We'll leave that door open, okay? And then we're going to work on trying to get you into like a jail cell so that they can't get to you, okay?
It was never clear if Christopher really was remorseful or if it had all been an elaborate act. If it was an act of pity, then Christopher played the part right until the very end.
You still doing all right, Chris? You doing all right still? Well, I think maybe I don't see it in there.
It's in there.
Okay. Just don't do anything. Just we'll help. Maybe the jail will help you get that out. Okay. What's going to be the best thing that can help you? You think?
Just give me that jail cell alone. that would make me feel better.
Okay. I'll talk to you. Just give me 1 second, all right? I'm going to talk to these patrol officers real quick. I'm sorry, what's your first name again? Christopher, right? It's Christopher. Hey, these are the officers.
Hello.
If you just want to listen to them, hey, go ahead and stand up for us. I just want to make sure you don't have anything else in your pocket. Nothing else?
Okay.
Nothing else in there? These guys will take care of it. You guys know what you're doing. I'm sorry.
Just go ahead, put your hands on your back for us, okay?
Yes. We're just gonna take you in, alright?
These guys are good guys, Chris.
Take care of you, man.
We'll take care.
We're not here to hurt you, man.
Christopher would remain in custody from that moment until his trial, which would take place in early 2025 at the Tarrant County Criminal Courts Building. Amongst the evidence used in the case was Christopher's confession and the handgun that matched the murder weapon. But this trial wasn't about if Christopher was guilty, it was about how long he was going to be locked away. The prosecution emphasized the fact that there were 5 children that would grow up without their mother, and Christopher's punishment should reflect that. And so, on March the 13th of 2025, Christopher Robertson was sentenced to 50 years in prison for the murder of Crystalline Robertson. The case drew a lot of attention, and Fort Worth mourned the loss of one of their own at the hands of a man who could have been capable of anything had he not been caught and locked away for most of his natural life.